Item B, continued discussion, I guess, on sharing.
Okay, let's come back to discussion about topics we were starting to talk about earlier, which would have been contact with non-public school students, contact with open enrolled out students, contact to neighboring school districts. And what would you like to see? I'm looking for you to tell me what you're wanting and what you're expecting.
So which one of those topics do you want to start with?
Neighboring school districts.
How many students do we have from the two districts?
900, a little over
Oh,
950.
that are going to Kemper. You gave
About
us
50.
50.
50.
Do you have any idea 10 years ago what it was, or 5 years ago? Is it up or down? Or?
Up.
Up.
When the bus started coming into the district, it went up.
Was there one open enrolled from SAC to Rock City Whitman and two to the Lutheran School in Stormont, is that correct?
Pardon?
Is there one open enrolled to Rock City Whitman and two to?
We have more than one open enrolled to Rockville City Whitman. And we do have at least one, we have one student to the Lutheran School, and the two places that SAC has non-public kids are Lutheran School and Storm Lake, one student, and the rest of the non-publics are to Kemper.
Okay.
And Wall Lakeview Auburn's only non-public kids are to Kemper. And then we have to pull out our open enrollment out, but we have SAC has more than one student open enrolled to Rockville City Whitman.
Okay. And we don't know why.
Why the students are open enrolled to Rockville City Whitman? Well, frankly, a lot of those are from prior years, and I don't have any idea why. On the form that we get, the most common open enrollment, and I'm going to look at the business managers, board secretaries, but I'd say the most common reason for open enrollment is I lived in a district, I moved into a house in X district, but I want my kids to still go where they work, which is a non-contested open enrollment. I mean, it doesn't even have to meet any timeline. Sometimes that happens in the summer, sometimes that happens in the middle of the school year. I would say that's by far the majority. In fact, I can't think of, I can think of from Wall Lakeview Auburn, a family or two from the Auburn area that go to Carroll because they wanted to get out of Wall Lakeview Auburn. In private, I would tell you why, but
Didn't want the kids to be disciplined.
well, one family was that, yes. I guess that's public.
Isn't that wrong?
But most of the open enrollments are for those reasons.
Well, we have to understand where they're going in order to figure out why.
I'd say aside from that reason, the other reason I see is in our district, the parent works in Lake City or the parent works in Carroll. And it's a convenience thing for them, you know, to have their student closer if the student gets sick, or to run to daycare at 3:30 until the parent gets off work.
Actually, I think every one of the Southern Cal open enrollments from Wall Lake, no, they're two Southern Cal is for that reason, because a parent or
If
parents.
it's not that reason, it was someone we lost in 96.
Our open enrollment forms would let us sort that by information. If you want us to go back and take a look at our current open enrolled kids, because there's a section on there and they check what that reason is about why they leave.
Well, if it's something, if it's like, if it's a discipline problem or something like that, if we know about it, we can correct it. If we don't know why they're leaving, it's hard to.
They have to give us a reason why, but sometimes what's checked may not be.
The real
I mean,
reason.
if it's not on that list, they literally can't leave. We don't have to let them go, but when there's one of those reasons on that list, then that's good cause, yeah. Yeah. And we can look up and give you some information about open enrollment.
How many school kids do we have in our district, do you know?
I'm going to look at the principals because they deal with the whole school in our district.
We have two in Wall Lake District. We don't have any elementary kids from the SAC building that are homeschooled.
We've got one at the high school.
Wellington Auburn has a family that open enrolls.
We gotta have more than that, don't we?
Well, we talked about Pastor McNeil and his kids because we've never had any contact with them, ever. And actually in church yesterday, when our pastor announced that their house burned, I thought, oh my gosh, we have never heard a single thing from that family. And I hadn't even,
I think there's 10 kids right there.
there's 8 that are
8 school age.
seven school-age kids. There's a family in Auburn that had been homeschooled that decided to open enroll for their homeschooling to Carroll.
And there's no advantage for them for doing that. Why wouldn't, okay, what is it to hook those kids in and call them something besides homeschools where you get some financial assistance?
Well,
It used to be a dual enrollment or something like that.
there's either a .1 or a .6. It depends on what sort of assistance they're asking for. If it's a .6 waiting for us, what that means is that we have a homeschool assistance teacher, an HSA teacher, and that teacher has to be involved with that family, and we look at their curriculum, we make suggestions about what they teach. The .1 kids are the kids that are tested through the school service, but we provide no other service for whatsoever. The homeschool assistance kids can ask for resources or supplies through us up to that .6 weighting, that's that dollar amount.
Could be in band or chorus,
Could be in band or chorus.
football. So,
They could come in and take a course or two.
you mean that you can actually have kids living in your district that don't have to tell you anything?
Apparently you do.
But
I didn't know you could.
I didn't think you could either.
No.
But, you know, yes,
Yes, they should have, their homeschool, so their responsibility is to notify us. Now, I'm going to tell you, our responsibility should have been knowing that they were there and asking
True.
them for the paperwork, but the responsibility is for them to report what's going on. So, now we'll be asking them for homeschool paperwork.
I was always under the impression, and maybe things have changed, that they have to be tested so often, and if they don't cut it, then we can retract their status as homeschooled because they aren't doing the job at home. Am I wrong in that?
If they aren't cutting it, then there's a different level for them. It doesn't mean that we have no authority to tell them they can't be homeschool assistant. They can't be homeschooled. It's called competent private instruction. CPI is what these kids are called, okay, competent private instruction. They can be advised by the ABA that the school will have to begin a homeschool assistance program with them, where one of our teachers is involved with them, and then the weighting for that student changes. But we have no authority to tell them that they can't homeschool. And actually, the Department of Education can't say that either. They can ask them, they can require them to do some things, but they can't tell them they can't homeschool.
That's a yearly testing?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And we report those scores to the AEA, who then in turn passes them on to the Department of Ed.
What happens if there's no education going on in the home? I mean, I thought there was a law that kids have to go to school until a certain age. I mean, they say we're schooling our children, but yet there's no education.
They have to, there's paperwork that they prepare, they have to describe the curriculum to us. They have to describe the numbers of minutes per week that they spend in all the core content areas. They have to either tell us that they are a licensed teacher or that they are affiliated with a licensed teacher. So that's the information. It's sort of like, and this is probably a poor example in your mind, but to me they're very much the same. When our free and reduced families fill out their paperwork for free and reduced applications, we just take their paperwork. We do an audit with a few people, okay, that we're told to audit, meaning just a random audit. But even if we're not certain about the paperwork, our instructions are you take the paperwork, and if that's what they gave you, that's what they gave you. And unless those students test poorly on that annual test, our responsibility is, well, their responsibility is to provide the school with the paperwork, the completed application that we filed, and then we get involved with them related to the testing.